Sadly, the first thing that foreigners think about Colombia is drugs.
A lot of people know about the cartels, about the different troubles with coke in different parts. Of course, it happened.
Nobody came here for more than 20 years because there was a stupid drug war, and now we are better. Every day we are better. Our city is clean. Our city is very progressive.
It's not anything what people used to think of. You know, right now is a very safe place to come.
Well, Colombia is a really happy place. It's a happy country with really nice people. I love Colombia. I love my country.
There's just one risk for people who come to Colombia. You will want to stay here forever.
We go in like tourists, but with the curiosity of journalists. This is an examination of destinations on the mend. This is Get Lost. To be honest, I hadn't thought much about Colombia one way or the other. I knew a few people who'd visited, and they all loved it. But all I really knew of the place was cocaine, coffee, and civil war. Well, we encountered all of those things, but not exactly how you might think. The very day we left for Bogota, a bombing at a popular shopping mall. And wouldn't you know it, just a few blocks away from our hotel. 3 women died here. Suspicion immediately turned to the country's best-known guerrilla groups, but they distanced themselves from the violence, not wanting to shatter their fragile peace deal with the government. And they weren't alone in condemning the terrorism.
This is not what we want to show the world in Colombia.
Citizens angry at the senseless loss of life, ashamed at the thought it was most likely the work of their own countrymen, and defiantly proud of what their nation is really all about.
We are special people. We are not terrorists. We are not FARC. We are not LN. We are not that. They're just a bunch of people that want to harm our country. This is a shame. This is painful and it's harm. It's horrible, yes.
This is the Colombia you think you know. Now here is the Colombia you need to know. So here's a fun fact about me. I like to ride a bike. You see things on a bike that you wouldn't see from a car. So I knew I was going to like Bogota on day 1, which just happened to be a ciclovia day. It's 120 kilometers of open road, closed to cars, but open to the rest of us on 2 wheels or 2 feet.
It's very popular.
Aquí en Bogotá sí, muy grande.
Other cities around the world have imitation ciclovia, but this is the original. There's a bit of a street festival feel to it, but make no mistake, they take it seriously. There are bike mechanics along the way, ciclovia ambassadors on patrol and ready to respond to my embarrassing attempt at Spanish.
Gobierno que ayuda a patrocinar como la actividad física, ¿sí? Entonces cierran toda esta calzada y invitan a la gente que monte más bicicleta.
I totally understood that.
It's estimated that 2 million Bogotanos take part in each Sunday ride, whether they're riding for fitness, fun, or just going from point A to point B. 2 million Bogotanos and me, surrounded by empanadas and arepas. It's a good thing I'm burning calories. Everywhere there's food on carts, juice on carts, and the occasional insect.
Son ricas, como maní.
What is crocantes?
Like crunchy.
Crunchy. I've eaten some weird things in my life. All right. Oh, I'm just thinking about what I'm eating.
Okay, so ants aren't really my thing.
It tastes fine.
Shopping, though,
Fidget spinners.
Yeah, that's not really my thing either.
Batman.
I like to get to know a place, and much of Bogota's story is written on its walls. One person's vandalism is another person's art.
This is a new one, actually. We're gonna see the artist. He has a huge wall in the next block. And something cool about like the tour as well is that it changes every single day. So you never know what you're gonna find.
Monica Rivera is a graffiti tour guide. Murals with a message, mostly political, give us a good idea of the state of affairs in Bogota, or at least one perspective. After all, any place worth visiting has its history and closets full of skeletons that politicians and tourism bureaus would rather we didn't see. But it's pretty tough to ignore those skeletons in Colombia.
The teenagers cannot find opportunities. So the only way of income they can find is like being thieves or drug dealers or things like that. And art, like studied painting, makes them being occupied in something nice and creative. And if they become skilled, they are gonna start making money out of it.
But it was once a dangerous, even deadly endeavor, as authorities tried to crack down. In 2011, a 16-year-old artist was shot and killed by police. The very same police that later provided protection to Justin Bieber while he spray painted a marijuana maple leaf on a Bogota wall.
It was absurd that they were protecting the celebrity while he was doing something vandal while they were killing members of our community. The artists started calling to get together and have a protest. That weekend, we had 300 artists painting nonstop for 24 hours. And that kind of changed the way the city understands graffiti. Even like the community started accepting graffiti artists, not as vandals, but as an artist. So that made the government started realizing the impact that graffiti and street art has in Bogota. So now it's considered a cultural act.
All this graffiti art may be a feast for the eyes, but it's not going to satisfy my actual hunger. This is when you want to ditch the guidebooks and go find a local to take you to a hole in the wall.
Okay, so what are we ordering?
Ajiaco,
Ajiaco.
lengua.
And lengua.
Lengua is tongue of the cow.
Empanadas like no empanada I've ever had before, and a magical elixir known as michelada, beer and lime juice with a salt rim.
Salud! Salud! Bienvenidos! It goes down way too fast. I might need another.
It's a meat lover's dream. Accompanied by countless varieties of potatoes. And millennials take note, the biggest avocado I've ever seen.
Avocado.
Avocado, yeah.
I have to take a picture of that avocado.
You don't need toast for this guy.
That is a giant avocado.
So that's lunch.
Stuffed.
A tasty, relatively tame affair. But dinner, that's when we fuel up for the party. Now I need to clarify, this is not a food show, but a girl's gotta eat and drink and people watch. And pretty much every person I spoke to about this country, travelers and locals alike, told me to go to Andres Carneres.
Wow.
It's a bit like going down the rabbit hole. Curiouser and curiouser scenes on each floor. And after a few drinks, we're all Mad Hatters here.
We're like 10,000 feet above sea level, going up a grade like this.
After a night out, there's nothing quite like a little hike to shake off the overindulgence. Okay, so we drove. But we did have to walk up a really steep hill from the gate.
Buenas tardes. Queremos hacer unas fotos. ¿Se puede?
Colombian coffee on a mountain in Colombia. This is the top.
This is a building.
Our Lady of Guadalupe, 2 miles above sea level, with the best view of Bogota. a good place to reflect on the past and the present.
It used to be that people felt unsafe to go out, but how has it changed? Is it much better now?
12 años para acá.
Yes, this is more safe now compared with the epoch, the period of the narco traffic. Like from the last government begin the security here. You see the police, the army, you can go to the places that you couldn't to go that in that period because it was dangerous too. Now it's more better to go out here too.
What would you want the rest of the world to know about Colombia and about Colombia's people?
Igual pudimos volver a visitar nuestro país. Nosotros somos no hemos podido
Better
ser
because there are more
turistas del
security. There's going to be the real peace in our country. Not only Bogota, and other places of the country too. With the agree of the government, we have that. This is because all Colombia love the peace, and we have that the peace arrived really here. Viva Bogota!
I love Bogota.
All the seasons in one day in Bogota.
Welcome to the 4 seasons in Bogota.
Exactly. Bring summer clothes, bring clothes for rain, bring a sweater, bring everything when you come to Bogota.
Also, bring a hard hat.
How do you feel? Like a miner?
I feel like a miner.
Very good.
From high above the city to the tunnels down below, the Salt Cathedral of Zipaquirá, once a salt mine where workers carved a sanctuary for themselves, a place to pray for safety and protection. And over the years, the religious transformation continued.
When you see this closer, you can see this very different way to curve everything. It looks like if it was polished, but when you see this closer, you can see that practically everything was made by hand. So chisels and hammers working carefully until doing this great cross.
Why did they decide to turn it into a cathedral?
Devotion. They were afraid.
They were afraid.
Yeah, they knew that was likely to die into the mine. Some rocks coming off, some gases blowing up, a lot of different troubles. So when they started, more than 100 years ago, they got some chapels, they got some altars to pray into the mine, and through the years they tried to improve it, and they made this better, and they made this bigger, and they tried to improve everything. And finally they saw like, well, this is huge, why not to get a cathedral? And that's why they did it.
The miners are gone now, replaced by tourists and romantics.
People get married here?
Yeah, people can get married here. Again, it's very symbolic for us. It's a very beautiful event, but in the central nave of the cathedral.
Okay.
In the last part, I'm going to show you where, and I'm sure that you are going to get married over there. You can try it.
I've tried once.
Maybe once.
If a wedding isn't your thing, maybe this is?
You can taste it to make sure.
You want me to lick the wall?
Yeah.
How many times have been on this wall?
More than, I think, more than 2 million or 3 million. It is salty?
It's salty.
Very, very salty.
I like salt.
Yeah, now. So, how does it taste?
I've never licked a wall before. I've done many things, but I've never licked a wall.
Now, I think it's safe to say that this is the only religious site in the country where licking the walls is encouraged. I definitely wouldn't try it here, in Colombia's biggest cathedral. Getting away from the big city for a day or two may not save my soul, but it's probably a good idea. A few hours' drive from Bogota, Colombia's biggest cathedral.
Oh my goodness, what is the name of this town again? It's Chica something?
That would be Chiquinquirá. And this is the Basilica de Chiquinquirá, one of the most important holy sites in Colombia.
So he goes around many countries, and in a month he's going to Chile. He's trying to follow San Francisco Asís.
Okay, so I'm not following exactly in their path, but just being in their presence makes me feel like a slightly better human being. All of these little towns, a few hours outside Bogota, carry Colombia's history. This is where the Muisca once lived, the indigenous people of this land, before the Spanish arrived. Villa de Leyva and its sleepy town square. Its colonial heritage well preserved and ready to welcome the Bogotanos who flock here on weekends. The even smaller and laid-back town of Requira, where endless trinkets peek out from shop after shop, and locals while away the day indulging tourists and their cameras.
Handsome.
And then there's this, the Puente de Boyacá, An unassuming little bridge that takes all of 10 seconds to walk across. But picture thousands of troops here locked in combat. This was the site of the Battle of Boyacá, setting the wheels in motion for independence from Spain and leading to today's Colombia. Now that's something worthy of a toast.
Oh, look where we are.
It wasn't easy. Colombia doesn't have a huge wine industry, but as I've said before, wherever I am, I will find wine. It's becoming a point of pride for me.
This is called quadruple fisting. Don't judge me. Okay, judge, I would. Don't tell me I'm not classy, because clearly I am.
Hey, you gotta keep the crew happy, right?
This is how they do it in France, right? Wine delivery. Salud.
Salud. Salud. Salud.
To Colombia.
To Colombia.
Welcome to La Macarena. No, not that Macarena. Sorry to put that song in your head. This tiny little town, a short flight from Bogota, is a special place. Dirt roads and horse-drawn baggage carts hint at just how new it is to tourism.
Our taxi. Oh, indeed. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to lose our luggage. I'm not sure anyone here really knows what to do with us or what to make of us.
There's hope for the future in La Macarena today, but La Macarena of the not-too-distant past was a very different story. Just a few years ago, this was FARC territory. The powerful guerrilla group ran the show here as part of a deal with the government to get peace talks going. But the guerrillas have moved on, replaced by soldiers who patrol the region and tolerate the tourists.
Gracias.
Gracias.
No, que estén bien.
I think I was just flirting with the soldier. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't help myself sometimes.
Now the cocaine economy is giving way to ecotourism. La Macarena is home to a national park, teeming with greenery, including, you guessed it, the coca plant.
This is the coca plant?
Yes, this is the coca.
Like coca, like cocaine?
Coca. Yes, coca. Yes, cocaine. 12 years ago, and here there was many cultivation of coca. And in Caño Cristales, there one road that is illegal. The guerrilla transported all the cocaine for that to arrive and Villavicencio, Bogota, other countries.
But that doesn't...
No.
Are you sure?
Finish, yes.
The road that was once used to transport drugs in and out of the area is now used to truck tourists around. This is definitely off the beaten path. Or maybe it's just the beaten up path. But the bumpy ride is worth it.
Muy buenos días, bienvenidos a Puerto Los Mangos en su vereda La Cachivera. Los guías del municipio de La Macarena están aquí para orientarte, colaborarte y hacer de esta una experiencia única e inolvidable. Bienvenidos.
What she said.
There is hiking involved, a lot of hiking, some balancing too, and it's hot. But you'll forget all of that once you find this. Caño Cristales, the river of 5 colors, so named because of the aquatic plants that under just the right conditions become a vibrant underwater rainbow. These are not your typical swimming holes.
1, 2, 3.
As we splash around and relax, soldiers keep an eye on it all, blending into the jungle. A reminder that not long ago, Colombians themselves couldn't even enjoy their own national treasure. This is the Ajaya family. They've traveled extensively outside of Colombia, but it's only recently they've been able to explore their own country.
So what did you all think of Caño Cristales?
We loved it, and it was a place that we were eager to know, but previously it was not possible because of the guerrilla situation. All this area was guerrilla territory, and no one could come here. Otherwise, they would be kidnapped or killed. But nowadays, it's a safe place to come here.
And soon it won't be just Colombians discovering this paradise that was once strictly off limits.
And now we say Colombia is sexy for the world. And it's sexy because all of the peace treatment, but also because we as Colombians have tried to show the world that we have a lot of things to offer.
We really felt that we were finally getting to the point where we are getting to show the world that we are much more than guerrilla, cocaine. You see that people here are working all together. You see that the tour guides are all part of the same group, the guys from the boats, and you see all them cooperating. And I think that's what is happening now. I mean, there's a long way to go, but we are finally seeing that people really want peace.
If it feels like excitement is peaking here, that's because it is. This is a celebration, a breaking free of a dark past, savoring the chance to share their beloved home with the rest of the world, and anticipation for what lies ahead. There are still challenges to contend with. Show me a nation that doesn't have them. But they deserve this party, a coming out party. Colombia is ready for its debut. Next, we'll get lost in Medellin. Top 10 things to do in Medellin. Mountain biking, paragliding, a coffee tour. What's his name? Juan Valdez? You might find him there. The Medellin Green City Tour. Wet Sundays in Guatape. Poblado Pub Crawl. We might try that later on tonight. The Waterfall Rappel. Who doesn't love an ATV tour? I need these Spanish lessons for sure. And number 10, the Don't Say His Name tour. Who do you think that might be?